No one can stand the star of this movie.
Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged. I truly do believe that.
And it just goes to show you exactly why she is so universally rejected right now.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
They're remaking the movie. They just got rid of the dwarves. Okay,
but what do they call them?
Why
now,
would they
too?
get rid of the dwarves, though?
Magical creatures.
But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures. You actually just went backwards. You actually just erased the dwarfism side of it. The disability, like we're a disability group. You just erased that whole image. The argument should have been from Peter Dinklage. There's power of being on TV. There's power of television. And to put 7 people with dwarfism on camera in a major Disney movie, there's still power there. If the story is offensive, change the story. Don't change the characters.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
This is someone who is as entitled as, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
I know this point has been made, but this truly is the worst casting maybe in the history of the film industry.
I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings. I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
Man. Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
Doom is a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Now for Disney, as you probably remember, all of this publicity, the Zegler interviews, the Daily Mail leak, caused a lot of unexpected, for them anyway, pre-production problems. People weren't supposed to see and understand just how unwatchable the new Snow White was going to be. It was supposed to be, kind of a surprise, but now there was no hiding it.
I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
It sounds like you're one of the only ones there, just like Rachel Zegler, as it turns out, and we part with this video of Rachel Zegler alone in a theater watching herself. One of the most unlikable humans.
That
ever.
is sadder than when the original.
Disney isn't just doing damage control. They're in full cleanup mode, and they're doing it quietly. Snow White merchandise is disappearing from store shelves and online listings without any announcements. No clearance sales, no last chance bundles, just gone. Industry insiders report that unsold dolls, costumes, and themed products are being pulled, boxed up, and in some cases even destroyed to minimize further losses.
I am walking into Snow White, 2 p.m., now seating. Let's see how empty it is. I hope it's off the boat we go. I hope. Sound like I hear a couple of people. One, two. Okay. 2.
Rachel Zegler just keeps making things worse with the Walt Disney Company. The more that she tries to defend this movie, the more that she tries to spew her agenda onto the general public, it's only making matters worse. Not just for Bob Iger, but for whatever is left of the image of Disney as a whole.
For a franchise that was once expected to dominate retail, this kind of silent erasure feels almost surreal. But after families began boycotting the film and sales came to a standstill, executives reportedly decided to bury the merchandise, right alongside the movie's reputation.
I just want to tell you guys about a incredible movie that just came out, Snow White. Wow. I just got to tell you, best movie I've seen in years, and there have been some really, really good films lately. Madam Web, Rebel Moon Part 1, that movie, that transgender one with the Mexican drug lord. But Snow White blows them all away. Chat, this movie has everything. Horrifying, CGI, little people, check. A feminist princess who don't need no man, double check. Diddy dance party at the end. Double Diddy check. All this to say, go see Snow White right now. The new one. Not that old stupid one where the
No
princess
rebranding, no promotional push, just vanish it. This isn't just a failed product launch. It feels like Disney is trying to pretend it never even happened. People are like, did we all just imagine that?
Oh wow, Snow White flopped. Who is surprised? You cast arguably the least genuine, most out of touch, and disliked person in her industry, and her industry is Hollywood. And the bad guy is Gal Gadot.
And all of this started long before anyone even saw the film. Rachel Zegler's press tour went viral, but for all the wrong reasons. Instead of building hype or showcasing the film's charm, she unintentionally handed the internet months' worth of material to mock, criticize, and meme into oblivion.
Big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
In one clip, she laughed about never watching the original Snow White, calling it creepy and outdated. In another, she called the prince a weird stalker. Fans weren't impressed.
Stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed on.
For Disney fans, these interviews weren't refreshing. They felt insulting. Social media lit up with side-by-side clips comparing the original princess's grace to Rachel's flippant tone. By the time Snow White reached theaters, audiences weren't arriving with nostalgia and excitement. They were coming with receipts, and many didn't come at all. Then came the infamous royalties moment. In what was meant to be a lighthearted chat about streaming, Rachel leaned in seriously and declared she should be paid every time someone watches the film.
Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot.
Visual effects push the boundaries of what we see on screen.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest imaginations.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
The internet didn't take it well. What followed was a wave of parody videos, sarcastic tweets, and outrage from casual moviegoers. People questioned how someone could complain about compensation while starring in a multi-million-dollar Disney film. The quote quickly became a symbol of something bigger, the growing perception that Rachel was entitled, out of touch, and completely missing the tone of the moment. What made it worse? She made the statement before the movie even premiered. To many, it looked like she cared more about the paycheck than the character. Even her co-star couldn't hide the tension. Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen, appeared noticeably distant during joint appearances. Their Oscars presentation? Painfully awkward. Please welcome Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, and the vibe said it all.
Snow White gets her name, not from the fairness of her skin, as we obviously know Rachel Zegler would be a miscast in that sense. Instead, she gets her name from surviving a snowstorm.
That audiences walk away from this film with an understanding of the true meaning of fairness, of what it means to be fair in this world. There is a message that's been carried on for almost 90 years now from the original animated classic. That is, fairness is what is within. Fairness is to do with your heart, the way you treat the people around you, and it has nothing to do with what you look like, and that's the misunderstanding between Snow White and the evil queen. I think it's such an important message, and the way that Disney has elevated it and brought it to this new audience is very special.
Stiff body language, and a forced smile that faded faster than a trailer teaser. Behind the scenes, insiders say Gal had already pulled back. She did what was required, but kept her distance from Rachel. Industry watchers took note. Gal had nothing to gain from being linked to a growing PR disaster, and her silence said more than words ever could. The studio may have hoped their star power would spark synergy, but instead, it only spotlighted the awkward tension between the leads, and then there was the rewrite. Rachel championed a new kind of Snow White, no prince, no romance, no dwarfs. She pitched it as a bold feminist reimagining for modern audiences, but fans weren't buying. It many saw it as a hollow attempt to slap buzzwords on a beloved classic, without understanding what made the original so cherished. Yes, stories evolve, but this version felt more like it was trying to prove a point rather than tell one. The magic was gone, replaced with a lecture. Disney has always known how to balance heart with a message, but this time they missed the mark, and Rachel became the face of that miss. All of these moments added up to something Disney couldn't fix with edits or rebranding. The backlash wasn't just about the film itself, it was about how the lead actress framed the legacy, mocked the audience, and misjudged the cultural weight of the role. It's rare for Disney to cancel a release in this way, but in this case, streaming Snow White might have been more damaging than helpful. Rachel Zegler became the main character in a PR cautionary tale, and Disney, at the very least, knew when to end the story. By the time the film hit theaters, the damage was already done. Disney's legacy was bruised, fans were livid, and Rachel Zegler had officially become more famous for her controversies than her performance. And this was just the beginning. Because the real horror wasn't what happened on screen. It was everything that happened off of it. And the second half of this story? Oh, it only gets worse. Snow White didn't just flop. It detonated with a $45 million opening and a staggering 1.6 rating on IMDb. The film didn't crawl out of the gate. It face-planted hard. And the worst part? No one was surprised. The box office collapse wasn't a shock. It was more of a scheduled event. From the moment the casting was announced, the writing was on the poisoned wall. Fans didn't just skip the movie. They practically threw a party for its failure. Memes, flooded timelines, reaction videos popped up before opening night even ended. Disney had somehow managed to create the first anti-fairytale fairytale, and it wasn't a subversive hit. It was a public rejection. A slow-motion train wreck disguised as a princess story. And then, in the middle of the chaos, came the OnlyFans curveball. An AI-generated Rachel Zegler profile mysteriously appeared on the platform, racking up thousands of followers almost overnight. It wasn't real, it wasn't verified, but for a brief moment, the internet wasn't sure. That hesitation said it all. Public opinion of Rachel had reached such a bizarre intersection of infamy and fascination that people genuinely wondered, is this how she's pivoting now? Her defenders dismissed it as a cruel hoax. Her critics ran wild with it. But either way, the moment became a symbol, a digital punchline to a real-life PR tragedy. Behind closed doors, Disney was panicking. This wasn't just another underperforming live-action remake. It was a full-blown theatrical disaster. With ticket sales flatlining and the film trending for all the wrong reasons, theaters began doing the unthinkable, dropping the movie from primetime slots. Quietly, subtly, but consistently, family matinees were replaced with safer bets, and evening showings were cut down. Snow White was buried so deep in the schedule that you'd need a map and a flashlight to find it. It was the cinematic equivalent of being uninvited from your own party. And while all of this was happening, an older chapter from Rachel's rise began to resurface, the forgotten Wicked feud. Long before Snow White, Rachel had been circling Wicked. Not just any role. Alphaba. According to insiders, she hinted at it online, dropped vocal clips from Wicked songs, and reportedly pushed her way into early conversations. But producers weren't blind. They saw what was coming. The same behavior she later displayed on the Snow White set, taking over interviews, acting impulsively, and clashing with co-stars, was already showing itself during those initial meetings. So they did what Disney didn't. They quietly walked her out before the damage was done. At this point, Rachel's career isn't just stalled. It's suspended in midair, like a fairy tale gone wrong. Once hailed as the breakout star from West Side Story, she's now Hollywood's latest cautionary tale. It's not just that the movie flopped, or that her interviews went viral for all the wrong reasons, or even that her co-star, Gal Gadot, looked like she wanted to vanish every time they shared a stage. It's all of it. The perfect storm of poor timing, bad optics, unchecked ego, and a complete misread of her audience. What makes it more surreal is that Rachel doesn't seem to see it. She's still posting, still performing, still talking about the importance of being heard.